Hello everyone and welcome to the ARL F3 Season 6 Championship. It's the Korean Grand Prix here at the Korean International Circuit in Yeongnam Province, 28 laps away at the drivers of this 5.6 kilometre course. I'm Scott Woodwiss and joining me alongside me in the commentary box for this occasion, it's Ryan Littlemore.
Hello Scott, hello everybody, and it's good to be back in the commentary booth, and it's going to be interesting to see the rising stars of the ARL here in F3, and we've got the super softs and the soft tyres here, so strategy will be very key to winning this race.
Absolutely, and also this circuit has two very distinct sections. The first sector with its long straights meaning slipstreaming is at a premium compared to the tight and twisty final sector, which has a very distinct street circuit feel, making overtaking all the more difficult. The Season 5 podium was ACR Jordan from iProX Callum and EliteJoker, with SE Racing Team taking pole position with a 1:37.354. Let's get straight into it to find out how they got on this season. Let's get into qualifying.
Alright, so here we go for a qualifying comparison for the ARL Xbox 360 F3 League here in Korea. Today we've got a comparison between pelosgt and DC MagiK. Coming up to turn 1, you want to hit the apex nicely, get a nice square exit, and then use up most of your curves on this long front straight here. Use up about 90% of your curves, but pelosgt uses up all of it. DC MagiK is saving a little bit for the second straight here, presumably. And coming up to this braking zone, it's a bit hard to judge where to brake. They both get it done fairly nicely. They hit the apexes fairly nicely. DC MagiK a little bit closer to the curb there, which might hurt his exit, but he does have the extra curves, which will probably save him here. But so far, coming up to the first sector, it's looking pretty even. Let's have a look at the split, and I think pelosgt is up slightly. I'm not too sure. He seems to be ahead so far as we come through the 90-degree section here. This is all first gear. Easy to make a mistake if you mount the curves too much. pelosgt turned in a little bit too early, but DC MagiK got a better run, so I think he's going to catch up through this little run through here in the middle sector. Nice flowing bit through here. You can take it with the DRS open. Looks fairly even so far between the two of them. Looks like DC is caught up, but coming through here, fourth gear, looks like DC might be ahead now as he's coming up to a Force India, I believe, and it looks like the Force India gets out of the way and they're both continuing on normally. But coming through the snail section here, DC MagiK taking a wider line in. He might have a better exit here as he comes out of the corner through the fast left-hander. Third gear for both of them, and it looks like it's pelosgt just ahead of DC MagiK at this stage, but it's going to be really close, this one. I'm not too sure who's going to win it. Pelos takes a very awkward line through there, and DC got a more flowing run, but it looks like he might be ahead through here. Open the DRS as early as you can on the run up to the line. Who's going to be ahead? It looks very close at this stage, and it looks like pelosgt just gets it with a 1:37.107. DC MagiK just behind in second. But that's been the qualifying comparison in Korea. I'll hand over to our commentators for the race.
Thank you, Ben, for that qualifying comparison there. So qualifying, pelosgt did get pole position with a 1:37.1 on the super softs, with DC MagiK just 0.05 of a second behind. Very close between the two there. It's Tommyzz in the Sauber is in third, with XO Powerpuff, XO in the Lotus in fourth, just 2 tenths behind. Leobot and Trin in 5th and 6th, with Dude Where's My Jev and Wrimz in 7th and 8th. And Sam and Craggles completing the top 10. With Sam on the prime tyre only half a second behind, so it could play a key role and he could be fighting for the podium positions. Togomies is in 11th, with John B, the race winner from last week in Suzuka, having a very poor qualifying, it seems, nearly a second off the pace. EliteJoker is in 13th, with Wookie Pete 14th, and Def the Trout is in the final position 15th, as Disco Rob is not competing this week. We're in for an action-packed race here at Korea. Let's head out to the racetrack for race day.
It's race time, round 14 of the ARL F3 Season 6 League. Clear weather here at the Korea International Circuit. It is Rapid Scorpion and RyanL83 commentating. No Matty or Trace-B92 here because they are away on other big business, but we are set for a fantastic race. 28 laps away at the drivers here this afternoon at the Yeongnam Province Circuit. And Ryan, with a couple of drivers out of position, could be a fantastic spectacle.
It is, and we can see John B there. What, last week's winner? Can he come through the field? I hope so. The lights are coming out now. And it's lights out, and away we go. And Trin is off to a good start in the Force India there. We're using a bit of his curse coming towards turn 1. It's a very short entry into turn 1. And it looks like he's going to go on the outside. Hits Tommy there. Bit of contact, then he goes wide. On board with it's Tommyzz now in the Sauber. Loses a position to Leobot there, and also Where's MagiK, who's had a cracking start, Scott.
It's down the backstretch for the first time. pelosgt using all of his curves to make sure he's got a major advantage down towards this very tight braking zone of turn 3. There could be an absolute carambolage down if they're not careful. Under brakes, and Pelos keeps it nice and steady. As on board with Wrimz now going down the outside goes Sam. Completely misses his braking point and straight on. As now Wrimz goes up the inside of Leobot. As then Togomies gets caught up with now Wookie Pete in the other Red Bull. And straight into the side goes Sam's 97 F1. And Togomies gets himself a penalty in the process for causing contact. And I'm pretty sure the Ferrari team will be protesting that back in the pits.
They will as well, and just remember as well, Sam, who was the highest man on the prime, so that's not worked out for him in terms of strategy. But Leobot there is in 6th position. He's had a reasonable start there. Looks like Jev there lost a bit at the back end going through this very slow right-left section of the second sector, which, as you said, Scott, is the technical area with lots of corners in. Not really demands on the tyres on the rears, I think, around here. As we're on board now with pelosgt, who's pulled a reasonable gap, I think about half a second already on DC and powerpuff, and powerpuff as well made a good start as well.
Absolutely, and the Force India driver making sure he's taking full advantage of this fantastic race so far. DC MagiK on board with his powerpuff pressures him in P2 into this very twisty winding section here of turns 12 and 13 up towards this more street circuit section here. We turn 13, a little bit of grass taken there as he takes the apex through there, and turn 14. And the gap is now 1.1 seconds. So already Pelos has got himself out of DRS range when it's activated on lap 3. And now as they head through, now on board with powerpuff, this is his view of the Williams in front. As they head onto the pit straight into Rich Mix 3, takes a lot of curb on the exit. And there's also there an in-game penalty given to Togomies will be reversed after the race. So of course it looks like there wasn't contact which was caused deliberately, so the stewards will reverse that after the race, which is very key to Togomies. Even though he'll get that in-game, that should be taken away. As now powerpuff lining up DC MagiK on the exit of turn 2, the cars will go side by side. They're both Renault-powered cars, but Lotus has the advantage. But back comes DC MagiK on the inside on the super soft. Down to the brakes at turn 3. This could be pretty tricky as powerpuff goes too deep into the corner, runs straight on across the run-off tarmac. MagiK's over the curb, and those two guys, it was a battle that lasted late breakers, Ryan.
Yeah, it was very difficult. I think powerpuff went a bit too wide and hit the curb, and obviously if you do that and brake late, you will probably lock up. He didn't do it there, which is pretty impressive to say, but he goes off, and with Codemasters on this game, if you do go off into the extended area, the car will slow down dramatically, and it's cost him. He's lost 2 positions to Jev and who else was it? I think it was who was it? Scott didn't know, or
I think it was possibly not DC MagiK, somebody else. We'll check it in a moment as we've got this fantastic scrap going on. We're on board with John B19, starting out of position, of course, as he had after winning a Suzuka, and he's battling it out with Togomies and also Wookie Pete. As now look at, you've got Sam 97 F1, he's outside this very fast section of 7A, and Sam getting very brave, and that was great driving from the Lotus driver. He's run too deep on the next corner through turn 9 and towards the braking zone of turn 10, and Togomies that hits the back of John a little bit. So already it's getting feisty in the back of the pack, as now we'll back with powerpuff as he chases after Tommy after making that mistake. And we're into this final section, as we said, it has more of a street circuit feel. We're looking to develop this area in real life as a business and more of like a bit of a city area, if you like. But of course, they're setting the foundations here as MagiK now chases after Pelos in P2, but he's already got Jev on the back of him in the McLaren and lining up for a pass there, Ryan.
It is, and obviously their DRS is now enabled as it is 3 laps into the race, and DC will have to really, if I'm honest, use all his curves as Jev, who was behind him, is set the fastest lap of 42.2, and as I said, DC using 3/4 of his curves there, so tactically he can get overtaking it, and then he can use his curves coming out of turn number 3. As you can see there, Jev's going down the inside of DC, and luckily no contact there was made. That's good driving from the pair of them, and Jev is now up into 2nd place. We have a 3-way horse going on here for, I think it's 11th or 12th place. I think it's 12th place, I do apologise. As Sam keeps the position, and John B is now still in 13th, and he's really pressurised by Wookie P and Togomies. And there's now a 3-way horse for 13th place.
The 3-way horse has indeed returned to the ARL League as Wookie again just holds the inside line through the braking zone. I'm sure many people will be happy with that. Here's a replay. This is a Wrimz then, down towards turn 3. Let's look at what happened here. So under brakes, and Trin in the front, in the forces tries to go past, and Wrimz completely misses his braking point. I think that's going to be a trend throughout the race today. Drivers missing their braking point. Now, as I say that, Joker goes straight on in P9, and straight past goes Wrimz once again. So he's made up one place that he lost after that original mistake. So the Red Bulls then falling behind a little bit as they're struggling around. As DC MagiK were back on board with him, still chasing the McLaren of Jev, and now they winds himself through turns 14 and then do a double apex left of 15 and 16, and Tommy's getting pretty close in P4 in the Sauber. And these guys, of course, are on the soft compound tyres. And around here, Ryan, when do you reckon these guys are going to be coming into pit? Because the option tyres, of course, are the super softs, and the prime tyres are the soft tyres. The two softest compounds which we run in the championship. So when do you expect these guys to be pitting?
I'm expecting it will be a two-stop race. There'll be two super softs and one prime, or the yellow compound tyre is the reasonable strategy. I do think they'll probably pit maybe lap 9 to lap 10 if they are conservative on the super softs, but the more aggressive drivers will be pitting maybe lap 7 or 8, and try and be reasonable because the tyres are really demanding around here on both the super softs and the prime. As their powerpuff trying to get past Tommyzz there, and has lost the position to Trin, who's now up to 5th position as he's coming onto the back of Tommyzz now, and he's gone purple in the first sector. 3 tenths is going down the inside of Tommyzz, and he's done it. That's a good move, that. And it looks like Powerpuff's got past Tommyzz as well. It looks like there's some side-by-side going on behind, but I think Powerpuff has just kept it ahead of Tommyzz, and he's got the move done there. And now Trin is going to be hunting down DC MagiK for 3rd place, as we've got a replay of the start.
So off the start of this on board with Joker then, let's look at his getaway. Pretty equal launch to the cars around him. Of course, he's got John B to his left, and there goes Wookie Pete up the inside. And there, of course, is Trin going wide in the Force India, rejoining. And oh, that was Joker getting squeezed out by John B and Wookie. And there goes also Trout behind as well in the second McLaren. So Joker getting shuffled down to the last position. And now he joined with his teammate DC MagiK back to live pictures. As we see MagiK still chasing after the McLaren in P2, but Jev's run deep into turn 9. He's forced to the inside line to go defensive into 10. It's compromised exit, and he spins! Half spins, but just keeps the car facing the right way, but that's compromised his exit, and of course he's lost in P2, and he's just about kept it in front of Trin and Powerpuff as we head back towards the street circuit section. Yeah,
I just want to notice there, looking at DC's tyres, they are looking toasty already, and as I said, I think that's what happened to Jev. His rears are going. So they've got to be really careful. Normally I would recommend second gear, just less traction on the rears, and you will save a bit of rear degradation until you pit. But now we've got a 3-way horse now for the final podium position, and also, take that back, 4-way horse, I do apologise, as Tommyzz is now, I think he's done DRS, he's a 10th behind, but it doesn't look like that on the back of Powerpuff, so there might be a bit of a lag going on between the two of them, because obviously Powerpuff is from Australia, while as Tommyzz is from the UK. But Trin, Powerpuff and Tommyzz will have DRS, so they're going to be hunting down Trin for this final podium position, as we've got Leo now, who's just behind them, 2.2 behind, and he's gone a bit wide and locks up. That's really bizarre, that is, I must say. But he's got Kraggles now, the fellow Englishman, and he's got passed up into 7th place now, and I think Wrimz could get DRS here, I believe, and he does so. And I think Leo's now a sitting duck. I think he's just going to go down the inside as Wrimz. Could try and make a move on Kraggles, but it'd be a bit risky. And gets that move done into 8th place and loses the back end there. Looks like there could have been a bit of contact there, but we'll probably have to see later in the replays.
I think there was, because Leo Bot's exit, he was very shaky and very slow, and his car was almost at an angle, so it looks like there was a bit of contact between both drivers, Wrimz and Leo Bot. As behind, that's Jev fending off Tommy. Still on board with Powerpuff now, exiting turn number 6 towards this fantastic high-speed sweep of 7 and 8. And of course, following in the slipstream of Trin, it's going to cause the dirty air to really hamper his tyres, to overheat them possibly a little bit, and also compromise with his front downforce. And Trin again getting very defensive, but holds that racing line. Powerpuff uses a bit of curb on the inside of 10, and exiting up towards the end of the second sector. As now back up with Wrimz, as he's now still chasing down Kraggles in the Ferrari. And again, back to that same section. And Wrimz looking like he's on course for a decent points finish today, if he can just keep it there, as Kraggles a little bit wide on the exit. But looks as though Kraggles is driving a fine race so far at the moment, P7, and he's a little far away from the guys in front who are battling over for 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th, but still, I think if Wrimz stays on him, not long before he can't pass him, I think, Ryan.
Yeah, well, and just he's gone a bit wide there, and once again he's gone off again. Bit of tyres, bit of grass on his front right tyre, and you can tell from that he is losing the grip. But great driving from Wrimz to keep it in a straight line. I'll probably crash into the wall if I keep doing that. But we've got powerpuff now onto the main straight and sets a 43 flat, which is pretty reasonable on worn options, which is pretty impressive. Half a second behind Trin, and also Jev is only half a second behind. Trim's made a mistake there at turn 1, and powerpuff has got a great sniff of a chance of getting third position again. And really surprisingly, not using all his curves there. Really surprised, but he's back on it, trying to get past Trin. He's going to go down the inside now on this very, very long straight. I think it's the longest in F1, I do believe. As they're coming to break now into the hairpin section now. Trin's going to try and recover the position, breaking a bit early and trying for an undercut. And no, powerpuff there might have used a bit of his curves and kept the position, but Trin's not having any of it. He's still going to try and go around the outside here. He could be doing a Nico Hulkenberg move here. Around the outside, he goes. Is he going to get the move done? No, he's not. And he loses the position, but great defending there from powerpuff. And there's a bit of contact there from Jev. And Jev, if he went through, he would have given the position back, but to be fair to Jev, he's let stay behind him, and the battle continues.
Does indeed, and if Trin had managed to pull off that move in the Force Indy, it would have been, of course, fitting, of course, of Nico Hulkenberg, because, of course, they both drove exactly the same car in 2012. As Trin now continuing his...
Oh, he's locked up.
Assault. He's gone deep again in towards turn 10, and straight through goes Jev, and Tommy's right on the back as well. Now we're back on board with him, and straight up the inside through turn 9, through turn 11, sorry, and just about gets it through. Now powerpuff back on board with him, P3, DC's 1.9 ahead, so MagiK has just got his plenty out of DRS range to make sure that he doesn't get past anytime soon. And through turns 15 and 16 he comes. And of course, I'm pretty sure we'll see some pit stops soon as he clouts the curb again. As you said, have to be very, very careful through there as he gets a huge oversteer moment. These curbs are so treacherous here in Korea. One mistake and it can oversteer you straight into the wall.
It does indeed. Remember Mark Webber, but obviously that was in the rain. But it can happen in dry or wet conditions. But back on board with Wrimz then, he's taking a nice line through the final corner. Craggle's gone a bit too wide, so he will hinder exit speed coming onto the main straight. But it doesn't seem like he's lost a little bit, as Wrimz there impressively sets his new PB. As we've got some in the pit lane, I believe it's Trin is in the pit lane, and he's going on to I think he's on the prime tyre there. Tactically a good move there from the Force India mechanics, and a good pit stop as well. And he's back on his way. As Wrimz is back on board with him, he's coming with DRS now, going down the inside of Craggles there, and brakes reasonably early, and gets the move done, hitting the apex nicely there. Don't take too much because you will lose the back end. And Wrimz is now into 6th place, but Craggles there looks like he's using some of his curves here, as he's going to try and repeat a Nico Hulkenberg move, as you've seen from was it Trin? Yeah, I think it was Trin. Or was it? Oh, I can't.
Well, yeah, it was Trin.
It was Trin, sorry about that. There, but Wrimz there defending beautifully, as he's got ahead of a task on, but the more he's like this, Scott, his tyre's going to go and you have to pit early.
What's also intriguing is that Tommy's fallen away from the cars in front, and looks though that possibly he's taken too much out of those tyres on that Sauber. So it looks as though he's just starting to slowly come back towards Wrimz now he's made that pass on Craggles. And this is now on board with pelosgt race leader. So Force India mechanics are getting ready to receive him, and he is going onto the prime tyres as well, it looks like. So let's see exactly how this works out. Ready to receive him in 3, 2, 1, and boys go to work. And pit stop is 2.9 seconds. This has been pretty rapid in the pit stops in this ARL league, and very consistent as well, Ryan.
Yep, as we've got the Sauber mechanics are in the pit lane, and are they going to repeat a 2.9 by the Force India team? Looks like he got held up there a bit, I believe, and I think we've got a McLaren in the pit lane. We've got a Toro Rosso in now. I believe
that's the Leo bot, I think.
Leo bot, who's in the pit lane, and another good pit stop there. Reasonable good pit stops by the teams here today. Very impressive to see that. I think, and we see John locking up there on the prime tyres, and keeps the position from Trout as they come into the straight. But, well, tactically John here, his tyres look alright from what I can see, as they're back on board with DC MagiK, who's pitting now from the lead. Maybe a lap too late, I think, because his tyres looked a bit dead from coming in. But hopefully we've got someone else in the pit lane. I think it's powerpuff as well. Into the pit lane, we've got some battle in the pit lane. Who's going to win this, Scott? Who's your money on?
It's going to be close. Williams and loads of mechanics go to work, and already powerpuff gets away, but with the Williams cars, it is further down the pit lane. And MagiK does get out in front of powerpuff, and let's see where Trin exits out as well. Where is he? and he is behind Powerpuff. No, he's not, because he's right there on the inside. That was a bit of a mistake on the exit by Powerpuff, and the Force India driver took full advantage of that, as Wrimz is now in his pit stop. 2.9 seconds for him, and he switches on to a looks at the Prime tyres as well. Kraggles was in too as well, and also the second Williams is in as well.
The Joker.
Yeah, of Joker. So pit stops galore then in his last couple of laps, and Trin actually set the fast lap of the race of a 141.788. So first man into the 141s then, and the man who you usually see at the front was off the pace in qualifying, and a little bit lower down than we expect him to be, but coming back to the field now and setting a pretty lightning pace so far.
Yeah, and I want to point out as well, I think Pelos has pulled a second from the pit stop phases from DC MagiK, because the gap from what we can see on the mini-map has extended to what it was before. So I was correct in saying that you don't want to pit as late as possible if your tyres are shot. And it looks like was that Leobot? It was Leobot. A brilliant move there down the inside to gain a position, as John B's going to be pitting now on lap number 10 from 7th position as Pelos sets a 41.3. Can Toro also do another good pit stop? It is indeed his 2.967 pit stop. Where's he going to put him? Where's John B going to go? After an impressive win in Japan, he's a bit off form here. He's down the lower field. I think he's 14th place. As DC MagiK now is behind Togomies in the Ferrari. I do apologise if I got your name wrong. As I think they're both on the Prime tyres, it looks like. But another interesting fact to say to put into the mix, Scott, is fuel is very bad around here. So the guys will have to be very careful on the fuel around here, and maybe have to go down to lean as Togomies is going into the pit lane.
Yep, pit stop for Ferrari boys for Togomies, and what's intriguing is that the Force India guys are out there and setting the pace right now. It's the Force India right at home here at the Korean International Circuit in Yeongnam Province. Hosted races in F1 since 2011 and 2010. Sorry, I do apologise for my error there with the date of the Grand Prix. Now on board with Trin. I think Powerpuff might be in the vicinity to make a pass. He's right there and tries to dummy down towards turn 3, but it hasn't worked because Trin is going to be wise to that. But Powerpuff's trying to get his way up the inside on the exit of turn 3, but he hasn't been able to get the line. So Trin holds on the Force India. So this is looking really good for the Force India team. Their cars are first and third, separated by DC MagiK, and they're cutting forwards, and Powerpuff is now ahead of Trin. So I didn't see how that happened there, to be honest. Did you see what happened there?
No, I think there was a mistake though by Trin, I think, during the lap, as Powerpuff there sets a 40.5. Very impressive time that is, but he's not in the DRS zone to DC MagiK, so he'll be using his KERS now, and he's in rich mode 3. He's got 3 laps of fuel as well, so he's not going to be worried about fuel. But DC there's gone a bit wide, but tactically, as you can see, they're both on split tyres. You can see DC's on the primes, whereas Powerpuff is on the options. Bit of a good move that from Powerpuff, because he doesn't want to be on super softs at the end where they're going to be wearing more than the primes do. As we've got a really good scrap here for 6th position, 4-way horse going on here, with Wrimz going past Dude, where's my jab, who made a mistake coming out of the hairpin. And is Wrimz going to go on the outside of Leobot here, and he's going to be too wide, I think. EliteJoker's in the hunt as well, catching up to Kraggles in 5th place as well. I think it's Kraggles in Sauber, or am I wrong, Scott?
Kraggles in the Ferrari.
Yes.
They're both got the same engine, of course, but of course they're two completely different cars. Yeah.
I don't know who's in the Sauber then, but it might be.
I think it's possibly Tommy. I think because remember he dropped back a little while.
Yeah.
And, of course, and he came back into clutch to people like Wrimz and Leobot. So, but I think that's actually there might even be a Williams in front. In fact, so that could possibly be Joker. I think is up to P6, which is a great run so far. As we've now got a battle for P2, MagiK runs a little too deep through turn 15, and that's put Powerpuff right onto the back of him. Gets himself a super little exit onto the pit straight, and now he might get a chance to try and close in within DRS range. He is in plenty within DRS range. It's about 0.4 of a second, just short of. Under brakes for turn 1, tighter run through there for the Lotus, and now he is within striking range for DRS. Saves his KERS to get to the detection point. That's pretty good strategy there. Deploys DRS and the rest of his KERS to try and close in. But even so, MagiK used all of his KERS, looks like, on the exit, but down towards turn 3. MagiK just looking to the outside line and the racing line, but he's gone wide over the curb on the exit, and that's put Powerpuff's blood up. He's going to try and go up to the inside down towards turn 4. And again, Lotus Power cars going back toe to toe here down towards turn 4. Last of the late breakers, down the inside goes Powerpuff, and Lotus driver into P2. So great move by the opportunistic move by Powerpuff there to make his way up a step closer up the podium.
It is, and looking at this footage from Leobot, the midfield is very close to each other. I would say about 6th to 13th is about 2 seconds, which is very good. Very good midfield. As Wrimz tries to go outside and he hits, then there's contact, then he's going to drop down the order, which is a real shame for him. Disappointing, but if you're going to try and make a move, and Jev there makes a mistake, and someone has lost their front wing there. I don't know who it was, but that was pretty bad to see. Whoever that guy is, I do feel sorry for you, mate.
Well, Leobot, you can see, if you can just see it, he's missed a piece of his front wing there. So the Toro Rosso driver, when he makes his second stop, of course, will have to have a front wing change as well. I did see that Jeb was hit in the rear by Kraggles, so it could be the Ferrari's lost his front wing, as Sam's trying to get 97 in the other Lotus trying to go round the outside of Leobot at turn 10. But the Toro Rosso driver is making sure that he keeps him there. But Sam is just absolutely not giving up at all. And he's just going this way, and that's swarming all over the back. And he's forced Leobot wide, and Sam's almost got his way through. But Leobot forces him out, the Swedish driver, not giving an inch. But Sam is putting some very gutsy passing attempts here. And I'm pretty sure, he makes a bit of a slide. He lost it completely. And there's his second part of his front wing. So if he didn't need a front wing before, he certainly needs one now. And I think, let's see, he lost positions to both Ferraris.
He should be
and
alright.
Also John B19.
I was about to say, he should be alright. He's lost 2 of his end plates, but the car, you might feel a bit of oversteer coming through the corners, but John there getting a bad entry onto turn 2 onto the long straight. Togomies is going to go back into 9th place. Very action-packed racing there, but as you said, it happens in these races, and it doesn't work out. And unlucky there to Scott, you might have to help me here.
Leobot, there was
Leobot, sorry. But Leobot there, but he'll still hunt. As you can see, he's still on the back of Togomies as well, but he's still going. He's not that far off 8th place. We've got a replay of the incident, Scott. Are you going to take us through it?
Yeah, so Leobot getting very defensive down towards turn 4. Look at that. Wrimz dummies and goes to the outside, and he feels like he's confident enough on the brakes, and Leobot just moves across. And didn't expect, I think, Wrimz to go. To be fair, I don't think Leobot expected Wrimz to go that far around the outside. So you can in a way excuse Leobot for doing that. I don't really think he did anything wrong. This is Leobot's point of view. Now look, looking behind, you can see from the arrows there, you can see practically where he is, but you can't tell exactly where he is. And there, he just only appears right near the exit of that exit there of turn 4. So Leobot can't see exactly where Wrimz is until right near the exit of the turn. And of course, by that point, Leobot's already moving across to the outside of the corner and to cover the racing line, and doesn't really know that Wrimz is that far across. So I think purely that's a racing incident, in all fairness. I don't think you can really apportion blame to anyone on that one. That's gone sideways! And just as he gets into the pit exit, how lucky was that not to throw it into the wall, Ryan?
No, it looked like it was going to be a Vitaly Petrov moment there, but very good driving from powerpuff to keep out the wall, and very good tactic of going to the pits and putting on some primes. That will definitely last him to the end. They can last about 12 to 13 laps around here on a fresh set. So he's going to be fine to the end of the race, but that was very close. As we're back on board now with Togomies coming towards turn 1 now. He's got Sam and powerpuff's coming just into the middle of this fight. We've got another 4-way horse going on here, Scott, for 6th place. Very exciting stuff here to come onto the long straight now. Sam's going to get DRS as well. Togomies is going to get DRS, and I think powerpuff will as well. As Togomies there also in cockpit cam, very brave man to do that, because I don't see many people driving in the cockpit cam in the Ferrari. As he goes a bit wide there, and powerpuff there on the fresh set of primes gets down the inside and regains the position, but Togomies is coming back at him down the main straight. He might have a better setup for a straight line there. Togomies coming towards the next corner here. He's going to brake a bit late and he's going to go down the inside. Is he going to retake back 8th place? It doesn't look like it. Powerpuff's going around the outside, and he's still there. There's a bit of contact there, and powerpuff's again going around the outside, and Togomies brilliantly defends well and keeps his 8th place there.
Some wonderful driving there from the Finn. Togomies doing well through the sweeps of 7 and 8. They go, and powerpuff staying close. So it looks as though the Lotus driver, his setup is a little more geared to these the sweeping sections and a bit more aerodynamic grip through these corners, whereas Togomies has better straight line speed, but of course he's compromised through here. And that's what I was going to say about Leobot before, when he lost his front wing, or his end plates in his front wing. Of course, that's going to help him with straight line speed, obviously, because there's less drag from the front wing. But then through the corners, of course, he's going to be obviously very hampered due to a lack of downforce. Back with Trin then, P3, and a fairly quiet race. 1 or 2 mistakes, but still carrying on. And he dives into the pits from P3, so forcing the boys are ready. side of things, Ryan, you weren't expecting to be in that early.
No, that is a really risky strategy for Trin there. I don't think... I'll probably say 9 to 10 laps the options, but he will have to be very conservative on the opening laps if he's got any chance of keeping his tyres nice and cool, not have a lot of degradation, and try and go for a podium. But it's a really risky strategy, and if you do want a podium, you've got to take the risk, because John B down the top right of your screen into the pits for some option tyres, and he's away back onto the track now, and he's going to return in, I believe, 12th place there. But Wrimz there into 9th place with Trin behind in 10th, as Wrimz will be hitting this lap for a set of options. As back on board with Trin, who's going to brake a bit later than Wrimz, and he's going down the inside. But Wrimz, yet again, is doing brilliantly with defending and also attacking as well, has kept the position and is still in 9th place. But Trin using it in the draft of Wrimz there, and he's going down the inside. Not really a chance for Wrimz, but Trin there locking his front left tyre there, but still keeps the position and is up into 9th place. Trin, as I said, if he continues like this, Scott, he's not going to be in the podium, I think. He might be struggling as DC MagiK comes into the pit lane for some options.
Absolutely, that's great pace there, of course, again on the option tyre, but he's going to last about 10 laps on those, so careful management is required, and locking the front into corners like that is not going to help it at all. The Williams boys go to work, and so do the Saab mechanics ready to receive Tommy as well, I believe, and also the second Williams with Joker in too, so another battle of the pit crews once again, and Leo Bot's in too as well, and of course he will get himself a new front wing, and also Wrimz in too, so pit stops galore here these past couple of laps, Ryan.
Got to say as well, got to give a shout to the Williams boys for a very good double shuffle there with DC and who else was that? Who was the other teammate?
Joker.
Yeah, Joker. It was a very good pit stop there from the Williams boys, but very active in the pit lane there. But Togomies is still out, very risky. I think he could do another set of options. I think the 10 laps to go. But as I said, it's a bit risky as a powerpuff now in 5th place. He's thinking of a move there, but the door is closed from Togomies, so it's good defending there, not giving it any chance for powerpuff to get past. But he's going down the inside. Is he going to try and attempt to move into this, as you said, the fast right-left section to start the technical section of this circuit there? But he's playing it cool, not really in a wet. But the problem he's got is the dirty air, and if you're staying behind a car, your tyres, especially your front tyres, will definitely degrade a bit more, and your car won't be stable enough, as he's really trying to get past Togomies, because the problem he's got, he's not really racing with Togomies. He's got Trin behind him who is battling with powerpuff, and the more he stays behind him, he's going to lose time, as we've got a force into the pit lane. It is pelosgt from the race lead who will be now going on to the option tyres, and I do think he has got a great chance of winning this race now. He's on the options while DC's on the primes. He can't win, he can't fail. He's going to walk it, I think.
Well, let's be careful not to take too much out of him, of course. 8 laps on this option tyre is doable, but you may take full advantage of the fact that he's on a shorter stint on those option tyres, as we've just seen. Togomies dive into pit road, so the Prix mechanics will get ready to receive the fin, and hits his marks just about perfectly. And another set of options going on for him. And 2.8 seconds this time for the Ferrari guys. Great stop there from those guys to get him out there as quickly as possible. As Sam is a sitting duck to DC MagiK for P2. Great driving from Sam so far, because he started in the back of the grid, and already he's up to P2 or P3. It's still going side to side there, as Cragwell set to 140.1. But I'm pretty sure that Sam's going to have to pit again as well, as Trin finally gets past powerpuff down towards turn 3.
Yeah, I'm very interested about Sam's strategy. We do know he started on the prime tyres. There's no way he could have done 20 laps on primes, but I do think he did 2 primes, so he will definitely have to pit again for options. But he's doing pretty well in 3rd place. Very impressive he is, and he's my driver of the day so far. If he continues this run of form, he may get 6th position, I think, projected position. As John B there locks it completely. The race winner from last week in Japan. He's having a poor race here. He's still in the points though, which is good to see. As Togomies is going to try and go around the outside into this section, and is he going to get it done? Going down, he's got the racing down for the next corner, and there's a bit of contact there from John, and John keeps the position, but he goes wide, and Togomies is going to come back at him, and is up into 9th place there. That's some great driving from the pair of them there. And don't forget, we've got some battling going on behind from John. I don't know who it was, but it's going to be very exciting in the last few laps as we're back on board with pelosgt as he comes to start lap number 22 of the Korean Grand Prix.
He's got just over a 6-second advantage over MagiK at the moment. Fantastic driving so far from the man in 1st position. The Italian driver doing a fantastic job. Of course, 2 Italian drivers in that team. and they're definitely doing their country proud here in Korea. Gaps up to 6.3 seconds. You can see just how much of an advantage he has on those prime option tyres. A 39.1 from pelosgt, just to show you exactly how quick he's going. And Sam, of course, is still in P3. Hasn't pitted just yet, it looks like. As now we're down to turn 1, and Trin is right there. He's well within DRS range. Using his curves on the exit of turn 2 and 3. Will he save it down towards? No, using it all. Even before he gets to the DRS range, saves a bit more. And now he's going to deploy the rest of it, I think, down towards, in fact, doesn't even need it, down towards turn 3 and easy on straight line speed to get himself into P3. And also here comes powerpuff, his teammate. So careful, boys, don't make contact with your teammate. Sam runs deep.
Oh, he's gone wide.
And gives powerpuff the room. And now powerpuff, I think he realises that powerpuff's much quicker. And now using the advantage with his curves left. Down towards turn 4. Trin's going to again defensive. He's going to hold the inside line, forcing the way around. And there's contact. And I'm pretty sure that was Sam into the side of Trin. And he's been hit by Joker as well. That was just a complete accordion effect, and it was all started, I think, possibly. How ironic is that? Is that powerpuff was forced out because he was hit by Trin, and all because I think Sam might have tried to go up the inside. And here's the replay. Talk us through it, Ryan.
Yep, as we've got Trin here, and we've got Sam as well on the inside. It's like a Lotus sandwich going on in a minute. As Trin's going to come into there. Might have been contact there from Sam there into Trin, and then into powerpuff. And
it was.
Tommyzz and Trin's hit Tommyzz as well on there, but really Trin hasn't really lost anything. He's gained a position, but that was strange driving, I would say, from the two Lotus drivers. Maybe some multi-21 orders have been applied there to get Trin out the way. As we're going to get a nice view of it from it's Tommyzz. It looks like Sam may have locked a bit there into Trin there, but we'll have to see about that with the stewards, I think, with that incident. That one I'm not really sure, but might have been Trin's fault there, but we'll have to wait and see. I just want to know from the inside, from the pit lane, is that Sam did pit for primes after 10 laps, so he did do a prime, prime option, prime stint. And from race control, there's an incident going on between Trin and Sam. Is under investigation for causing a collision. We'll hopefully get a result from that anytime soon. From there, as the back on board with Leobot, who's battling with his teammate John B as pelosgt, a 39 flat. Very impressive from Pelos as he's on the options. But Scott, are we going to see another incident here between the two Lotus Toro Rosso drivers? Okay, I take that back, maybe not, because John and Leobot are still going, but very interesting. As we've got another incident from race control, Tommyzz and Trin is being investigated as well for causing a collision.
What's interesting is that, of course, Trin's involved in both of those. One, he was the victim, and two, is the one that caused the incident with Tommyzz. As the two Toro Rossos again go into combat, and Wrimz now got Togomies to his outside as they go down side by side onto the turn 3 straight. In fact, no, it's not bad. That's Sam. He's pitting for a set of option tyres, and he's only going to do 5 laps on them, so that's going to be really key. Much fresher tyres, as Leobot now is just sees his teammate John B sail past with the aid of DRS down the straight. And I want to go back to the incident between Trin, the whole incident back down turn 4 between the two Lotus cars and Trin and Tommy, is that Tommy actually took advantages. You see John goes wide on the exit of turn 4 over the curb and lets Leobot back through. Great scrap going on between the two Toro Rosso drivers. Down towards here, when that all happens, John goes back inside. Oh, there's contact. That is the cardinal sin of F1 racing. You do not hit your teammate, and John's been given a penalty for that one. Whether or not the stewards will look to reverse that decision, I'm not quite sure. We're sure we'll get a notification up on the screen.
Yeah, I think they will let him off there, as a race penalty there has been reversed because John did let his teammate back through, so he will not be given a 10-second penalty at the end of the race. powerpuff there locking a bit there. Still, from race control, nothing we've heard from the two incidents with Trin in it, as powerpuff there losing the back end a bit. You can see there's a sign that the tyres are going already, so we could be very interesting. The last 6 laps of the Korean Grand Prix here, and you can see powerpuff's it. Oh, he's lost it, but no damage there. He's not having a good day here. And you see his engine looks a bit red as well. Could be damaged. He might lose some speed on the straights. We'll have to wait and see as we're back on board with Tommyzz now in that Sauber with the Ferrari power engine coming down the long straight now. Gonna try and get past Trin and get himself into the podium positions, but look at the fuel. He's on optimal fuel. He's got to be very careful here. He does not want to run out of fuel on the last lap of this race. I would tactically go down to lean behind Trin in the middle sector to save a bit of fuel, using a bit of his curves now, but he wants to get this move done. He wants a podium position. He's going to try and go around the outside, do a Hulkenberg, but we got a result from the race control and that Sam has been given a 20-second penalty for the incident he got with Trin just before the left-right chicane there. That caused a nice little pile up there. But we're still waiting for confirmation with the incident with Tommyzz and Trin.
I'm sure we'll get that up in a second. That's been decided pretty quickly between Trin and Sam. I'm pretty sure the other incident between Trin and Tommy will be resolved pretty quickly, but still we've got a battle going on between those two guys. And Trin holding on, and there it is. And it looks like Trin's been handed a 20-second penalty as well. So really, Tommy doesn't have to do anything. He can just sit behind, and I'm sure the team will tell him here. And he can just sit behind and just, because he knows that he'll finish ahead of Trin in the order anyway. So Tommy effectively can just switch into lead mix one, just back off, and he can even back off as much as he wants really, just get the car home, I guess. Now through the final corner. This is the replay then. This is what all caused it. And what I think is key is watch Tommy here. It all goes off in front of him. And this is really opportunistic driving from the salvage drive. Look at that. All three go wide. And Tommy just says, thank you very much. Goes past all three cars. If he'd managed to make that stick before Trin hit the side of him, then that would have been one possible one that overtakes the season, I think. And that being so, there goes Trin, and there's the contact which forces Tommy wide, and somehow Trin holds on to P3 through all of that. But through the final few couple of corners he comes. It's our leader pelosgt. We haven't seen very much of him, but he's run a very cool, calm and calculated race. Also mistake-free, no dramas whatsoever. Through the final couple of corners for another race victory this season. It is another win for Force India. pelosgt takes the Korean Grand Prix here in the ARL F3 League. A stunning drive to take another top step at the podium. DC MagiK incredibly happy with P2 for Williams. And, well, even though it's P3 on the road, it's going to be...
Just want to say, EliteJoker is up into 4th place. What has happened to Tommyzz? What has happened? I think he's run out of fuel.
Oh, that's a disaster. So that in fact means that Joker gets himself P3. So both Williams cars on the rostrum because of Tommy running out of fuel, it seems. And this is now the battle between Craggles and
powerpuff lost it.
powerpuff sideways through the final corner. Can he hold on to it?
Togomies going to get it? No, he's not. powerpuff's just got it. Wow, that was exciting end of this. Here comes Wrimz now coming to finish in 9th place. Very lucky to not run out of fuel there. Went straight to optimal coming onto the straight, and John B's going to come in 11th with his teammate just pipping him to 11th. So John has had a dismal race from his win last week in Japan. He's going to be livid with that. No points for him, and there Tommyzz.
There's Tommy.
I don't think he's run out of fuel. I think he might have made a mistake on the last lap, and he hits into the wall. But there's your winner, pelosgt. He's going to be very happy in that helmet of his. And as you said there, the Williams boys, great job for them getting 2nd and 3rd. That will really help them in the Constructors' Championship.
Most definitely.
So here's the... go on, Scott. Take them through it.
Thank you very much. So here's the final result then from this afternoon's race at Korea. pelosgt takes the win by 4.1 seconds in the Force India from the two Williams boys, DC MagiK and EliteJoker. Great result for both those guys. That's some very well hard-earned points. That'll be, if I work it out on the fly, probably about 31 points, I think. No, 33 points. Apologies for that if I was wrong. Anyway, Craggles gets P4 in the Ferrari. 27 seconds back on the leader. Powerpuff just holding on from Togomies with his rather ruined tyres, and Togomies the Finn holds on for P6. Trin has to settle for 7th after that 20-second penalty that he received for the contact between him and Tommy. Wrimz holds on to P8 in the Norwegian driver in the Red Bull. Then Leo Bott and John B, the two Toro Rosso drivers. John, as you said, not very happy with P10 it seems, and then back towards P11. We see we've got it's Tommy with Def to Trout in P12, Sam97 F1 in P13, Dumas Majev in P14, and Wookie Pete didn't actually finish the race with Disco Rob not even starting in the Sauber. So then, right, moving on to the championship standings, and we've got pelosgt, excuse me, with 203 points, a rather large lead over Tommy. That's some 52-point advantage. Really, Pelos, as we move towards the end of the season, looks as though he's almost got the championship wrapped up.
Yeah, he has, and he'll be very happy to know that Tommyzz did not do pretty well. He was on course for a podium. He would still be taking 10 points away, but he's got even more now, and he's got that, as you said, 52-point gap. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this is going to pan out in the next few races. With just, I think, 5 or 6 races to go of the season. So you never know. Anything can happen. It could be a Sebastian Vettel dominance, or it could be a last round race at Brazil. We don't know yet. As we're looking through the other standings there, Togomies in 9th place there, and Disco Rob very close between the two. And look at that for the rivalry for relegation. 6 points covering Leobot and Sam. And I do think Trout and Wrimz have really got to pick up the pace if they do not want to get relegated down to F4 and F5. The Constructors' Championship, Force India, 288 points. They've got a 66 point lead over Lotus, with Sauber with 204 points. But that second and third from Williams has really helped them now. They've jumped Toro Rosso and they're now only a point behind Sauber. They could still get a top 3, they could even still win the Constructors. They've got to keep going well in the race and get some more consistent race finishes. Ferrari there with 171 points with Force, I don't know who that was at the end there because it cut off. But next time, we're at the Bud International Circuit in India for round 14 of the ARL F3 Championship. And Scott, your final words, who was your driver of the day?
I think you have to say possibly, I'm probably going to say Joker. I think he started in the back of the field, gets himself into P3. Great result for him, of course. So, absolutely fantastic job. And quickly, Ryan, before we wrap up, your driver of the day?
It's got to be pelosgt for me. Without a shadow of a doubt. For led from the start and won it on his own, a Vettel-style victory, and he's my driver of the day.
Absolutely. Well, the next round is the Indian Grand Prix on the Bud International Circuit. We'll see that next week. It's round 14 of the championship. We get close to the end of the season, so hopefully you guys will join us once again. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Scott Woodwiss. Thanks to Ryan Littlemore today.
Pleasure, as always.
And we'll see you guys next time for round 14 of the ARL F3 Season 6 League in the Indian Grand Prix at the Bud International Circuit. Bye for now.
Take care.